It is not clear what is the net loss or what is the net gain.
The interests of the automotive and coal sectors in South Africa could be on a collision course. The EU's Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism, CBAM, is not only dictating change in the automotive sector, but also affecting the sovereignty of countries in the just transition to greener energy. The business sector is worried about South Africa's insistence on the coal baseload for energy. That will negatively affect the automotive manufacturing sector. National Business Initiative CEO Shamila Subramani has cautioned South Africa could lose its import markets in the automotive sector due to a lack of compliance with the CBAM laws of the European Union.
We also need to look at South Africa in terms of who our major export and trading partners are and what's happening there, and there are constantly different relationships that are being formed. At this point, we know that the biggest concern is the Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism in the EU and a few others that are already being suggested in different countries as well. As it stands, the border adjustment mechanisms, which we know is being negotiated and there are other conversations happening around that, could potentially put big sectors at risk. So while on one hand we're worried about the jobs in the coal value chain from starting to decommission and move away from coal, on the other hand, you've got industries such as motor manufacturing and others who, if they don't actually transition into greener energy, could actually lose the markets that they're exporting into, because they are now demanding and requiring that those greener products coming in. And if the carbon component of them, which is largely the energy used to manufacture them, hasn't been changed, then we could lose those markets because the taxes that are then levied at the borders could effectively render them uncompetitive. And so we do need to be concerned about that. So the other flip side, of course, is that if we're able to transition to support that, not only could we make sure we maintain some of those markets, but we could potentially open up new markets as well, and hence more jobs within our country. But again, there need to be deliberate, explicit efforts, and we have to rethink the way we plan industrially, but also that energy mix and how we get it and how quickly we do that so that we don't lose a significant portion of GDP.
South African Presidential Climate Commissioner Enos Mbodi warned that the EU's Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism threatens the sovereignty of the just transition of individual member states.
The issue of CBAM gets to threaten our peace, because what happens with CBAM, we get to move at the pace determined by others. It is no longer a sovereignty driven just transition, but they give us the pace. And obviously, I'm sure they are happy that they're giving us the money and the pace, but that takes from us the justice part on our side. We wouldn't want to lose any jobs. We want everything to be done in such a way that we preserve jobs, and we do not rush this at the call of other people. Let me just make an example of your petrol attendants. We probably would lose about 100,000 of them, but to where? We should be knowing the pathways by now. Nobody knows. We are busy second guessing, all of us. And also let me mention your informal sector, like the so-called bush mechanics. What is to happen to them? Because this NAV is new, it's not something that we know of. These are people who are eking out a living, fixing our cars. What is to happen to them? All those things need to be considered to the finer detail. And right now we are not convinced that is the case.
The South African business delegation is worried about the country's automotive products losing their markets due to the battle with the coal sector. They say South Africa's motor manufacturing industry, which is one of the country's biggest economic sectors, could face severe repercussions due to a failure to change the carbon footprint. Samkela Masego, SABC News, Baku, Azerbaijan.